in 3.
Growing up, it seemed like I was always sick and the emergency room and missing school. My stomach always felt like I had been punched and kicked as hard as someone could. We couldn't figure out what was going on, and we went through several doctors, and they just couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Every doctor wanted to put me on every medication they could find just to ease the pain, and they were at a standstill with what to do with me. I remember one time in particular. It was the day of a field trip in the 5th grade. I had been so pumped to go on for several weeks now. It was about 15 minutes before we leave for school, and then it hit me. I dropped and fell to my knees in agonizing pain. I could not move. I was just curled up in a ball, laying next to the floor, just hoping the pain would go away so I could go on this field trip. I couldn't stomach any food given to me, and ironically, my mom was trying to get me to eat bread so I'd have something in my stomach. My mom was freaking out and didn't know what was going on. We jumped in the car and sped to the ER. The bumpy roads made it feel like I was on a roller coaster. My mom basically had to carry me to the ER, where I sat for about 10 minutes with everyone staring at me because I could not move. The doctor then rushed out, took me back to a room where I could lay down. They had no idea what was going on. They started giving me powerful painkillers, but nothing worked. The doctor had specialists come in to try to figure out what was going on with me. They had no clue. Eventually, they gave me this pill that if I didn't move, would eliminate the pain. I laid in the hospital bed for the rest of the day. The next year, and about 15 doctors later, we met Dr. Donovan. Dr. Donovan is a gastroenterologist, which is a fancy way of saying he specializes in the digestive system. Dr. Donovan is the nicest, funniest, smartest, most outgoing, and at the same time, creepy doctor you will ever find. He's about 60 years old with over 35 years of experience. He made the decision to get me tested for celiac disease, which is an autoimmune disease in the small intestines that is in your genetics. If you have celiac disease, eating gluten, which is wheat, barley, and rye, will trigger an immune response in the small intestines and will inflame your intestines and over time damage it. It prevents the absorption of some nutrients found in gluten. The intestinal damage can cause weight loss, bloating, and sometimes diarrhea, or the exact opposite, constipation. Eventually, your brain, nervous system, bones, and liver begin to get deprived of important things that your body needs. And it doesn't take a genius to know what happens when you get deprived of important things that your body needs. There's no cure for celiac disease but following a strict gluten-free diet. When I say strict, I mean strict. There is no slacking, or you will pay the price in unimaginable pain. To be tested for celiac disease, there are several blood tests you can take, but they're not as 100% certain. The only way to know for sure is to have a biopsy. We went in for a biopsy months later, and everything was a blur from the procedure. We got the results back, and they said I had celiac disease, and I didn't really know what that meant. So my mom took the lead and started researching what exactly celiac disease was. I was in for a big change in my life, but I just didn't know what to say about it. I felt no emotion. I mean, I was kind of happy, my stomach stopped hurting, but I was just lost on what I had just been diagnosed with. We also figured out I have good old hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, and I eat every 3 hours, and if not taken care of, will turn into diabetes. But I never let it get to me. I just continued on being Kolten. Eventually, we went to see a nutritionist. She showed me what I can and can't eat. A few things were pizza, pasta, beer, and Twix. Those are the most important things, so I was pretty disappointed. But I started to realize gluten is in everything. Deodorant, cologne, shampoo, soap. The sticky part on an envelope. We had to completely throw a whole kitchen away. We had to throw away the toaster, all plastic, because gluten absorbs in plastic. Not to mention, gluten-free food is about 3 times more expensive. We can no longer just order pizza. We had to call ahead of time at a sit-down restaurant to see if they had any gluten-free food. Okay, if they have any gluten-free food, what's the kitchen setup like? Okay, is gluten-free food fried? Okay, is there a dedicated fryer for the gluten-free food? And 9 times out of 10, the kid on the other end of the phone had no idea what gluten was, and I'm sure he could care less. There was hardly any fast food I could eat either, other than a Wendy's baked potato with chili, which I ate 18 times on a trip to South Carolina. Never will I eat Wendy's again. And then a few items from Chick-fil-A, which is a lifesaver, to say the least. If you take your pinky fingernail, cut it in 8 pieces. 1 piece that size in gluten will increase your death rate 600% for 6 months. So all of 6th grade, I was just in a recovery process. And it will take several years to get my stomach healed up. There were holes all in my intestines. On a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being I'm dead, I was at a 3.5. In 7th grade, we started seeing me get better. I had grown 2 foot, put on 60 pounds. My hair was starting to get insanely curly. I was so happy, but all I could think was, how can I use what I have to help someone else out that may have celiac and has no idea what's going on? I want to be a nutritionist so I can help people out that may have health problems and have to change their whole lives around. Celiac is absolutely maybe the person I am today. If Dr. Diamond didn't request me being tested, I would be dead right now. And I have a new perspective on pain. I can no longer take it seriously when people say, "Oh, my stomach hurts." You have no idea what stomach pain feels like. Having celiac has given me a new vision on life. And if I can endure the pain of being gluten, I can take on anything.